They fined us $750 for property damage they couldn't prove, just because a little primer paint dripped onto the shared fence line. 2 weeks later, our hidden camera caught the HOA president herself. Paint roller in hand, vandalizing the same spot she'd blamed on my wife. I'm Ethan Miller, a building inspector from Mesa, Arizona. My wife, Rachel, and I bought our house here 12 years ago, 3 bedrooms, stucco beige, HOA dues of $200 a month. It all started one Monday morning in March 2024, when Linda Harper, our HOA president, a retired paralegal with silver hair wound tight enough to cut glass, showed up at our driveway, clipboard in hand. She jabbed her pen toward the fence. "This is vandalism, Mr. Miller. You people will pay for it. You people." That phrase stuck with me like a splinter. Rachel tried to stay calm. "It's just primer over spray," she said. "I can clean it." Linda cut her off sharply. "You've already been cited once for color variance. This is escalation." She snapped a photo and left, her red sedan crawling away like a warning. That night, I sat under the hum of the range hood flipping through our HOA's declaration, 142 pages of bureaucratic scripture. Section 9.2.3, property damage fines up to $1,000 per occurrence. No proof required, just board determination. My neighbor and closest friend, Tom Lawson, a retired county assessor, leaned over my counter with his usual thermos of black coffee. "Their fiscal year ends June 30th, he said. "They're just padding revenue before the audit." That stuck with me. The board met every first Thursday of the month. I marked it on the calendar, 12 days away. Rachel wanted to ignore it. "If we fight, they'll just retaliate," she said. But I couldn't let it go. In Nevada, HOAs must give homeowners a fair hearing before levying fines, NRS 116.310312. Most people don't know that. I did my homework, drafted a written hearing request, and hand-delivered it to the office on April 2nd at 10:17 a.m. That same night, Linda left a voicemail. "Aggressive correspondence won't help your case, Mr. Miller." I saved that recording to my growing evidence folder. Every sound, every word became a brick in the wall I was building. Days later, the fine appeared again on our HOA portal, same amount, marked final warning. They hadn't even acknowledged my hearing request. Procedural mistake number 1. At the next board meeting, I stood before them, Linda, Treasurer Ray Thompson, and Secretary Janice Reed, and calmly said, "I'm exercising my right to a hearing." Linda smiled thinly. "We'll review it in executive session." I countered, "Executive sessions are for legal or personnel matters. This is disciplinary. It's open by law." Silence filled the room. Ray's pen froze mid-tap. Linda blinked twice, then muttered, "You'll receive notice." When the meeting ended, Tom whispered, "You rattled them. Expect retaliation." He was right. Within days, we got citations for trash can placement, a noise complaint when Rachel was at yoga, and photos of our mailbox supposedly out of compliance. I logged every single one. The binder grew thicker by the week. Finally, I called my friend Daniel Shaw, municipal lawyer. After skimming my notes, he said, "They're using intimidation to force payment. Keep documenting. You might have a case for selective enforcement." Selective enforcement, it happens when a board punishes one homeowner for something others get away with. It's illegal. So Tom and I walked the block with a camera, photographing 7 fences just like ours, all with paint drips. None of those owners had been cited. Evidence folder number 2, comparative enforcement, was born. Then Linda crossed a line. She emailed the entire community about ongoing vandalism investigations, including a cropped photo of our fence. I responded politely. Out of respect for due process, we'll address this through proper channels. Please avoid public speculation. A few neighbors sent supportive messages. Most stayed silent. That's when Tom said, "If they're fabricating fines, follow the money." We pulled the HOA's public filings. Under miscellaneous enforcement income, $38,200. That's fine money. Their revenue depended on homeowners paying bogus penalties. When a new letter arrived, intent to lien, I realized we'd crossed into dangerous territory. Rachel wanted to pay. I couldn't. If we pay now, they'll just do it again. Instead, I started building a timeline spreadsheet, dates, actions, violations, and evidence. Then Tom brought me a revelation: the narrow drainage easement behind our fence wasn't legally part of HOA property. It had been owned by Desert Crest Development, a dissolved company. The parcel taxes were unpaid, meaning anyone could claim it by settling the balance. By 3 p.m. that day, Miller Property LLC, my inspection business, legally owned that 9.3-foot strip of land. The very ground under the disputed fence. Legally, the HOA no longer had authority over it. I didn't tell them right away. I just waited. Soon, harassment ramped up again: flyers, fake Facebook accounts accusing us of harassing the board. Rachel was terrified. But I stayed methodical. Then 2 men were caught on our property at 2 a.m. with flashlights. We called the police. Officer Mark Laird took the report and said quietly, "If they're HOA contractors, this crosses into criminal harassment." That's when I knew it was time to act. I compiled everything: violations, threats, video footage, financials, into a 300-page report and mailed copies to the Nevada Real Estate Division, the HOA's insurance carrier, and the county district attorney. Days later, I received confirmation: case number 24117 NRE had been opened. When Linda saw that notice posted on the HOA portal, she doubled down, labeling our security camera surveillance hazard and fining us again. That became Exhibit A for retaliation. By now, whispers had turned to anger. Neighbors quietly met at our house, comparing their own unfair fines. We formed a small coalition. The tipping point came when I sent a letter to all residents announcing the official state investigation. The neighborhood exploded with discussion. Someone uploaded the plat map, circled the easement, and wrote Miller Property LLC. Linda panicked, calling an emergency closed session. But it didn't stay closed, half. The community showed up anyway. That night, I walked into the packed hall with one small USB drive in my pocket. When Linda tried to accuse me of defamation, I placed the flash drive on the table. "This," I said evenly, "is footage from March 28, 9:43 p.m., you painting the same fence you fined us for." Gasps filled the room. Officer Laird, attending for safety, confirmed he'd reviewed the footage. "We've opened an investigation for false reporting and property damage." Linda's face turned white. "This is a misunderstanding," she stammered. But it was over. Homeowners demanded her resignation on the spot. The treasurer muttered, "Maybe we should hold a new election." The next morning, an email arrived: "Board President Linda Harper has resigned, effective immediately." At the next open meeting, the board publicly apologized and announced refunds for all improper fines within 60 days. I stood up, binder closed this time. "Refunds are good," I said. "But we need reform." And so, we voted on it: term limits, quarterly financial disclosures, open ballots, an independent ethics committee, and a 10% dues rollback to repay homeowners. Every hand in the room went up. That night, I filed one final document, transferring ownership of the easement from Miller Property LLC to the newly formed Silver Canyon Community Trust, managed by 3 residents. The filing fee was $12. For the first time in months, I felt peace. 2 weeks later, a letter arrived. Linda Harper pleaded guilty to misdemeanor property damage, 6 months probation, restitution to the HOA. Justice. Proportional, not vindictive. Now, every spring, our HOA hosts Transparency Day, open budgets, free coffee by the lake. And laughter echoing through the neighborhood again. Rachel calls it our peace treaty with the past. When I walk by that freshly painted fence, smooth and clean, I sometimes still hear the crunch of gravel from that first morning. But now it means something else. We turn something ugly into something honest. Every rulebook, no matter how thick, is just paper, until good people decide to read it.